wheels. Rather helpfully says, put the wheel inside the tyre and then rotate it around. That could be some time. Okay, perhaps I didn't need to be so sceptical. That went on okay. We follow their instructions. Cool. So these are not sealed. There is no indication to seal them. I presume so that, like some of these tyres, they may get water in and you just have to let the water drain out. I don't think this model is not designed to be fully waterproof, so I'll be taking care of it as much as I can do in a Glasgow autumn. So probably just running it indoors. So just going to quickly attach the wheel, and that'll be pretty much the last thing of the structural building to show. Be electrics and body shell, and then it will be done. So having done replaced tyres, wheels, having to take them on and off the Savage quite a lot, this is pretty familiar with me. Bit of grease and another bearing inside there, which that's going to run nicely. Then the obligatory pin, which always is at risk of coming out and being lost. Get it in initially and then turn the diff so it's sat horizontally so it doesn't slide out. And you can put one of these hex thingies on. Then the wheel. Very simple stuff, but very simple stuff, but he still manages to mess it up, having the wheel top on. Tight but not super tight still. I think sometimes if you get them too tight they will actually start rubbing against, but that seems to be. That's okay, I think it's just a bit stiff with the differential. So there you go, other wheels. I have from another model an HPI receiver that works with my HPI Savage transmitter. So that means I can get on with the electrics and get on with finishing the build. So let's go. First thing I decided to do was just test all the electrics before I install them. Not sure it tells you to do this, but it's a good idea. So I've got the got a servo, more about that later when I install it. Receiver, ESC that's supplied with it. This is actually it's a brushless ESC, which is pretty cool. It's set up specifically in this example to be used with brush motor. They've done something and the details are in there. It's set up to be used with a brush motor. You can set it up in a different way electronically to use with a brushless motor. So I may be able to convert to brushless and still use this ESC, which is cool. I've got a battery, of course. So in the receiver, plug in ESC. So, turn it off. Plug in the battery. Now this has a bind procedure on it to bind it to the transmitter. It took me a few goes of trial and error to get it right, get the button pressing right at the right sort of time. So turn it on, turn it on. That is working. Turn it off. Plug in. Just make sure this is well clear so it's not going to drive off the table. Turn it on. We are working. Fantastic. So now I can start go into some detail of the servo I got and start installing the electrics properly in the car. So the servo setup. The kit does not come with a servo. The guys at Steve Webb, aka Servo Shop, pretty sure they know what they're doing, so they just suggested this model, sort of reasonably priced model, so it's got plenty of power for their larger 10 scale wheels. So to get this set up, you first need to make sure it is centered, so that's why I had to get the electrics working first before doing this stage. You need to have the power on, you need to make sure the dial, the trim and everything is set to neutral on here, and then you can put the servo in place. So just going to check that on, be working, we're working there, trim is working, so I'm going to set the trim to exactly neutral on here, that's still going. Now I can screw on the servo horn. I'll just turn that off for the moment. Being a non-Tamiya servo, there's different instructions for Tamiya servos, non-Tamiya servos. The main thing is the screw that holds the servo horn in place. Basically say, look at what screw came with the alternative servo, match it up to one of 4 screws available in the kit. So I went ahead and did that. This is a thin tapping screw, so I need the MC3 screw. So I got that ready to go. Just clip the servo horn parts into place, like so. Check how this is going to be positioned in the kit. So it's positioned with the horn on the outside of the kit. So the horn will be on the outside of the kit here. So this side down, this side up, horn facing upwards, and try and clip it in. Now this is centered. Clip it in as exactly as possible to upright. That is, they never seem to, I've done a couple of servos, they never seem to be exactly upright, but that's what trim's for. That is pretty close. Get that right. Push it in place. There's a plastic washer here with one flat side, not sure why it's got one flat side. There we go. Moving this out of place at the moment won't matter because it's being centered with the transmitter on, so it'll realign itself when it's turned back on. So just going to check again. See that twitch back into pretty much a neutral position. There we go. So I will need to adjust, to get it upright, I'll need to adjust the trim a little bit. Really not very much. So that's cool. Trim's only just off default there. So we can then put the servo in place here. And I've already had a little look at this. You're supposed to put a foam pad down here, which the servo horn will rest on. I'm not quite sure why that's needed, but I've gone ahead and done it. There's also this further arms here, so you control the actual steering, and this has got to be screwed in there. It doesn't matter if this is these have got kind of ball joints on here, so there's a bit of flexibility in where exactly it's placed, no matter if it's slightly out of line. What I will go ahead and do is probably easier, because this is flexible, easier to screw this bit in first. Then I've screwed these supports into place that screw the servo into the chassis. The servo did come with these kind of rubber spacers here. I'm not sure if they were necessary or not, but I have put them on because I think kind of reducing vibration going through the servo will be okay. And as I say, because this is a ball joint, it doesn't matter if it's like a 1 or 2 mil pushed forward or back. So just make sure that slots into place. It is quite a tight fit between the between the edge of the servo and the drive shaft here, but it seems to just be about a mil space. So, now it's a moment of truth. Seems to be working smoothly. This should be okay. So turn it on. Turn it on here. So just the alignment looks slightly out, so that looks pretty much neutral. Bit noisy, but it's running smoothly and it's responsive. After closer inspection, I've had a look at this, the shaft and where it's kind of touching the servo. I think it is only just very lightly touching the rubber. It's not really going to brush against kind of hard plastic that would impede it. So I will just leave it as is. If there is a problem, I can always take this servo out and just take the rubber spaces out, see what happens. At the moment though, that seems to be working. Right, so with the servo in place, you put the engine cover and switch in. Again, just step-by-step instructions through here. You've got to put the switch through the cover. Right, so you have to take off the kind of plate that shows what's on and off here. On is towards the wire, so that's easy enough to remember. And then screw it all back on through the cover here. Feels like it's nicely sealed in place. It's quite a relief to be getting back to the screwing after all the cutting out and spray painting on the body shop. It's nice sort of simple mechanical processes here. And then you've got a further engine cover. This goes over the motor like so. And you've got a further cover just gone here. Not quite sure why they've got. Seems to be like it's almost like a funnel in there to funnel in air to cool it down. Not quite sure why this is a separate piece, but I imagine it might be so you can change this particular cover on here, maybe put in a heatsink or something instead. Imagine it's to give you options, kind of different motors, different heat requirements. Okay, ready to put on the model. I think this is like a sort of air intake thing. They maybe could have made it look a bit cooler, you know, made it out of like chrome or put some flame decals on it or something. I suppose it'll be hidden under the body shell. And I'm moving stuff around now. I'm careful not to drag the attached electrics around too much. I don't want to damage cables or anything. Give you a little decal here, which unlike the others are actually pre-cut out. Why they couldn't cut the other ones out, God only knows. What fun. Right, now I've got to get the receiver unit in place and the ES in place. So, receiver unit inside the receiver case, I've checked. This just about fits in behind the bent over wires. Now my servo, I'm pretty sure it's a standard size servo, and with these spaces it is actually pushed very forward slightly. So if I didn't have these spaces, it'd be real, you know, I've got about half a mil to play with there, and not too keen on how far I've had to bend these the motor contacts here, because if you bend them enough you can snap them. I assume once they're in place, you know, I won't need to do any more bending. So various things to do. with this, got to thread the antennae here into the plastic antennae. This should be boring I guess. So make sure it goes through here. Checking where this is going to be threaded out. Now there's two slots here to put the ESC and servo cables in, and also I presume one of these slots is for the antenna to come out, so I'm just going to make sure that can come out of there like so. So that is about the right amount. All a bit wrestling with an octopus of cables at the moment. Before I screw this into place, just going to do a quick test. On. So having had a look at it, I'm going to screw this in place first, and then put it in the, stick it into the requisite parts of the body tray. There we go. Alright, going to pull this cable gently out the receiver, making sure got too much left in there. Slotting this in place now. Right. Okay. So, now this section I don't really need necessarily so much here. Maybe if I decide I want a different receiver with more aerial, there'll be a bit more, but I'll just cut that off for now. Nice chance of stabbing myself in the face while I'm doing this. Okay, so receiver case is ready. So let's just get that out of there. Now it's going to be, because these wires are on the side butting SSO, it is going to be an even tighter fit than I thought. I'm going to bend these up. So, there we go. Although the terminal it's pushing against here is protected with a rubber kind of sheath, so that's okay. So, so you've got little pieces of double-sided foam tape on here. Just going to make sure that's clean so they adhere well. Just check both sides are going to peel off. There's always one side that's recalcitrant. Sure that's all okay, that's all okay. Get these nice and smooth, and then make sure that wire's out of the way. Slot it into place. Cool, cool, cool. Then the final piece of the puzzle. ESC is designed to sit on the servo like that. Pretty neat, I would say. Doesn't mean that if I need to tinker with the servo or change the servo, it will be slightly trickier, but the tape does come off. Let's get this nice and neat. it's nice and neat. So there we go. Alright, that's ready for the battery. They thoughtfully supply you with some cable ties because you've got your usual octopus here. Let's just plug this in. So this should be pretty easy just to tie out the way on top of the receiver box, like so. Probably, not sure where these bits are going to go, but they'll be okay. So let's adjust. Final check. Sits in nicely. Very, very gentle on the throttle. Cool, it's a working car. Get it tidied up and ready to present. So here we have it. The finished car. Last bits were pretty easy and fun to do. You can see it all coming together. This is the body shell with the decals on in effect. Haven't put many decals on there because I just quite like the simplicity of these ones. Paint job's still a bit patchy in places, but from a distance I think it looks fine. I think the overall effect is pretty good. Even the white here is growing on me. The white goes with the white on here. There's a certain harmony to that. Lift it off inside. So, cable tied these all out the way, got the battery clipped in place. Yeah, it all seems to be in order there. Just make sure that's not going to rub on the drive shaft. Cool. Yeah, so there we go. This build was generally pretty easy, pretty fun. The body shell, as often seems to be the case, was the trickiest part. The rest of it was just, there's no awkward, really fiddly bits. Probably the most fiddly was getting the stuff in the receiver case with the cables, but that was only one section. Getting the dog bones and the axles in place, but again, it's just a matter of taking time holding it in place. Everything in general was pretty methodical. So there you go. Tamiya Dual Ridge 4-wheel drive buggy kit build from unboxing to final model.